Guys, it is exciting weekend here for us. Our kids are super pumped. We're gonna celebrate some birthdays this weekend. We're gonna do some shopping. We may even, heaven forbid to say this, I guess, but like we are ahead on shopping. We may even finish this weekend and just get to spend the rest of the year watching Christmas movies and eating cookies and doing all those fun things. So my wife has been on it this year, and so we're excited. We can't wait. I can't wait to be with you guys on Sunday. It has been a long 3 weeks, a good 3 weeks of rest, but long. So I can't wait to see you, to sing with you, just to be together. And so reminded today, just thinking about our devotional this morning, and that as Jesus comes, that there's a specific way that he's described in the book of John, that the Gospel of John describes Jesus as light shining into the darkness. And I found that to be so interesting because I often kind of think of that as light shining into night, or maybe God shining into the evil of the world. But really thinking about it and re-grasping this morning of how I just walk in darkness a lot, the way that I think, the thought patterns that I've created, the ways that I perceive the world, even in some ways, my heart, and the things that kind of come out of it, just those worst moments, not just moments where things don't go the way I want them to, but moments where I'm kind of pressed, where maybe somebody says something about me, or I'm stressed, or they attack me in a way that I think that I shouldn't be attacked, that they assume the worst of me, and out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks, right? It's out of the abundance of the heart that I think. It's out of the abundance of the heart that I perceive the way people are. And thinking about the fact that Jesus came isn't just this something that's external, but the fact that the Spirit now lives within me. So that light, the most predominant dark place in the world that I know and that ultimately can be transformed and changed, is not the world around me, but it's the heart inside of me. And thinking about that's just kind of painful, though, because for light to shine in the darkness means, one, I have to admit that there's darkness, and then two, what comes to light? And my tendency is to cover that, to run from that, to excuse that, to justify that, to explain it away. And in reality, instead of explaining away, maybe I just need to surrender it. Just need to open up. And yesterday had a real, I don't want to say convicting, but just interesting moment where I just felt running behind all day yesterday. I felt like something was off. Something was just kind of weird about me. And it put me in this kind of really quiet place, which is not the way I am typically within our house. And me and a couple of my kiddos were driving around, and one of them just said, "Hey, Dad, what's wrong?" And I immediately, just the thing I want to say is, nothing's wrong, I'm fine, which is what we always say, right? We're all fine. Nobody, in fact, if you ask anybody, nobody's doing bad, everybody's doing fine, right? And instead I said, "Well, what am I doing?" And they said, "Well, you're being really quiet, and the kind of the look on your face seems really kind of like your brow is furrowed, and just, are you doing okay?" And it was almost as if I had this moment where I looked up in the mirror and I was like, man, I look kind of like, am I mad? Am I sad? Am I depressed? And really, I wasn't any of those things. I was just off. I just felt tired and exhausted and kind of running behind and going, huh. But it was my kids actually showing me grace and just taking the time to really press in and identify, hey, this is what we see. Light shining into the darkness. What do you see? And so being willing to be open, to be just transparent before the Lord and say, this is my heart, this is where I'm at, with a close friend, with your spouse, with even your kiddos, which can be super humbling to look at, a 10-year-old and go, man, here's kind of just, I'm bogged down by problems, or I'm just kind of worried or stressed, and to actually find that sometimes people will hurt you, but sometimes they'll give you grace. And it's that grace that we kind of need at this season. It's the reason why Jesus was sent, is that we all need grace, and he came in the flesh full of grace and truth. So praying for that for you today, for this weekend, and praying for that for us on Sunday. God, thank you so much just for the ways that you're working and moving. God, thank you that this is not as good as it'll ever be, but not just circumstantially, not just what's around us as far as the world versus heaven, our brokenness versus perfection, but actually that this isn't the best I'll ever be. That you're continuing to work in my heart, that he who began a good work will be faithful to complete it in the end. And so, God, I confess that I still need you as much today as I did the first day that we met. And Father, I thank you so much that you understand, that you sympathize, that you know what it's like to have flesh, to have stress, to have worry, to have betrayal, to have pain, to have anguish, but you also know what it's like to have laughter and joy, to eat good food, to drink good drink, to celebrate and feast. And so I pray for that today. I pray for that to be a reminder even within our house this weekend of celebrations, that there's a greater celebration to come. Father, I pray that we would be open and honest with what we find when the light comes on in the dark, God. Thank you for, I guess, the biggest thing being that when that light shines, that your grace shines the brighter. So, God, we love it. We love you, and we thank you for knowing exactly what we need and when we need it. And it's in your Son's name I pray. Amen. Hey, one thing, friends, before I hop off, is we sent out an email yesterday posting our Christmas Eve services. We're excited. We are asking you to register because of just wanting to be able to be together but be safe together. We're actually going to offer 4 service times, both in person and to be available online. So 12:30, 2, 3:30, and 5. We had a little bit of a typo in the email yesterday. No big deal. When you click on the link, it's going to take you to the right times. So we just want you to be able to plan accordingly this year, that we'd be able to celebrate the arrival, the birth of Jesus together. So love you guys. Praying for you. Pray for me.